And it seems like old times, doesn't it?
Now you're talking playoff football.
I'll tell you.
All right, DJ, unusually balmy day for this time of year in this part of the country, and even more importantly, there is no wind. Very little to speak of.
You know, and I'll tell you, when you get to this thing where the winner is going on to the championship game and losing that, it doesn't make any difference what the heck kind of field it's on.
That is very true.
I think these two teams, I really do, I think they could go out and play in the parking lot.
The Eagles kick off. They have an outstanding record when they lose the toss, which they did because they're kicking off. This is Ron Dixon with some room, and Dixon can fly away from Akers, and he's gone. He's not going to be stopped by anybody. What a way to open up a playoff game. The Giants. Ron Dixon from 97 yards. Nobody came close. What an alley he had.
Ron Dixon, the fastest Giant of them all. If you want to get the ball in someone's hand that can take it all the way, it's Ron Dixon.
97 yards.
He just catches it inside the 5-yard line, starts up the middle, picks up a couple of good blocks there. There's no way Akers is going to tackle him. And at this point on, that's just Ron Dixon and his speed to the end zone. What a way to start a playoff game.
7-0 Giants. Pete Monty. If there was such a thing as a key block, it was by number 51 in blue.
And he gets it right there.
Yep.
And from this point on, he knows when he gets one-on-one with a kicker that he's going to win that battle. And after that, again, it's just his speed.
And he can fly.
And you know he's going to be excited, and this whole stadium is excited.
They didn't even get seated before the Giants are on the scoreboard.
Now he has to go and talk on the telephone and tell them what he just did.
Get his breath.
Jim Fossil is right there and wants to hear all about it. Ron Dixon's had some problems with being on time and missing some meetings and so on, and been in the doghouse a little with Jim Fossil. Watch Dixon here. He's going to go right to the camera. In fact, he kind of stuck his head in there.
He wanted an instant replay.
Yeah, make sure that's a camera, not a heater.
Yep. I want to see it again. And well, he should. 97 yards, the opening kickoff. Ron Dixon.
I tell you, you want to set a tempo early, and that's what you always talk about. And it can be your offense, it can be your defense, and it can certainly be your special teams.
You got to look at Donovan McNabb. He is the Eagle offense, and he'll get his chance now.
I coached a playoff game once against the Miami Dolphins, and the same thing happened. We kicked off the opening kickoff, and they returned it all the way.
Brian Mitchell at the 9 takes Dairisso's kickoff, and he's got some room. Mitchell, good return to the 36. Dave Thomas made the hit that brought him down. Let's look at the Eagle offense. Thomas and Runyon, the tackles. Wilburn and Jermaine Mayberry, the guards. Bubba Miller's the center. Two good tackles. Small, Warren, Martin, Chad Lewis headed for the Pro Bowl, and Charles Johnson playing with a sprained ankle. Follow the directions of Donovan McNabb. 75% of the Eagle offense.
Look at this formation. The two tight end, two wide receivers are stacked out there.
McNabb. Complete to Lewis, and let's have a look at the Giants defense. The front four: Jones, Hamilton, Christian Peter, and Michael Strahan. Three linebackers: Jesse Armstead, Mike Barrow in the middle, and Ryan Phillips. Sehorn and Thomas the corners. Sean Williams having a great year, and Sam Garnes the two safeties. 2nd and 4. Lewis in motion. Warren gets the carry. Doesn't get much.
Hey, Sean Williams is really something to safety. He's like having an extra linebacker in there, but Keith Hamilton and Christian Peter, they play that middle, and you don't get any movement there. And then they have Mike Barrow right behind him. And it's really tough, especially early in the game when these guys are fired up. If you look at these two tackles here, Griffin is in there now along with Hamilton. They put Griffin in there for the scramble because he has the quickest. But those two guys really handle their guards and center.
3rd and 4. McNabb ducks. Trying to take off with it. Gets nothing done.
Now, I was just talking about how Cornelius Griffin is number 97. And you watch him, he's going to spy. He starts here, and he's just going to wait right here. He's just spying Donovan McNabb. He's going to shadow him wherever he goes. And he was right there waiting for him.
A job well done.
As Jim Fossil said yesterday, the only defensive lineman we have that's capable of that is Griffin because of his speed.
Landetta punts. Amani Toomer is back at the 18. Toomer tripped up at about the 23. New York style pizza. Very appetizing.
They know how to do it
yes,
in New York.
Do.
I mean, it's funny how you can go some places and they can't make a pizza worth a darn, and just about any corner in New York you can find the best pizza in the world.
First down, Giants. The pitch is back to Tiki Barber. Barber out of bounds. Let's have a look at the Giant offense. The offensive line has done an excellent job, sort of reconstructed. Dusty Ziegler's the center, Parker and Stone the guards, Pettigrew and Lomas Brown, the veteran, at tackle. Toomer, Barber, Camella, Howard Cross the tight end, and Ike Hilliard.
Jim Johnson, the defensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles, says the guy they have to stop today is Amani Toomer. He said, in fact, we're going to double him the whole game. That's the first time I've heard that said about a Giant receiver that I can ever remember.
In a long time. Here's the reverse to Amani Toomer. And he got enough, I believe, for a Giant first down. Let's look at the Eagle defense. The front four: Douglas, Thomas, Simon, and Whiting. Gardner, Jeremiah Trotter headed for the Pro Bowl in middle, and Carlos Emmons. And the secondary, a good secondary: Taylor Dawkins, Moore, and Troy Vincent.
There's Jim,
measure.
There's Jim Johnson there, the defense coordinator we were talking about. And as you said, they are measuring that to see if Amani Toomer got the first down, and he did.
Legendary sports announcer Marty Glickman passed away this week. He did Giant games for so many years. And they just observed a moment of silence here at Giant Stadium in his memory. He was the voice of New York for a long, long time. Tiki Barber back in. Collins swings it out to Barber. Barber gets away from the first tackler, out of bounds, no flags. There comes the flag. Barry Gardner knocked him out of bounds.
And that's right on the Giant sideline, and they're going to let him know it. Gardner's there. He better get back off there and get in the huddle. Tiki Barber still has something. You know, the Eagles did say early in the week, in fact, it was Brian Mitchell who said it, that Tiki Barber has a broken left arm, and they're going to go after his left arm.
Foul, unnecessary roughness by the defense. Number 52, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Barry Gardner. Ed Hockley is the referee. And there's a quote from Brian Mitchell, which might have stirred things up a little during the week. Barber appears to be smiling a lot, but he's not always smiling. That's misleading.
Well, you're going to see what happened here. You see he's on the sideline. Right now he goes out of bounds. Gardner really hit him late.
Yeah,
he hit him right on that arm. I mean, that's not football. There's no place for that any place.
Joe Montgomery in the backfield for the Giants. Collins fake to him. Throws quickly to Hilliard. They get into Eagle territory at the 45.
Heck of a play by Kerry Collins. It was a bootleg, and Brandon Whiting, the defensive end, was there waiting for him. Usually you try and fool that end and get him to come down and pursue so you can get around him. But watch as he goes out there. Brandon Whiting is going to be out. This is the the backside, this is away from the play where they're blocking on Hugh Douglas. They're always going to have a couple of guys on him. You see, I mean, that's when Lomas Brown is blocking Hugh Douglas, but he's going to have a friend with him every once in a while.
Ron Dane is the deep back, and he gets the carry. And Dane is hit at the line of scrimmage by Jeremiah Trotter. No gain.
Jeremiah Trotter's a heck of a middle linebacker. In fact, he's going to the Pro Bowl, and he really does a good job against the run. I mean, he controls that middle, takes on a block, gets off the block. As you can see here, he leads the team in tackle. I like Jeremiah Trotter. I mean, he comes from Hooks, Texas. If you come from Hooks, Texas, I'll guarantee you, and you play middle linebacker in the NFL, you're tough.
He grew up chopping wood. Here's Collins back to throw. Batted down by Corey Simon. And it brings up fourth for the Giants. They'll have to punt.
That's the thing that they want to do. You know, is first of all, you'd like to sack a quarterback. And then you would like to make him throw it before he's ready. Then the third thing is if you don't do any of the above two, then you just try and get in the lane that he's trying to throw it in. And that's what Corey Simon did.
Brad Maynard back to punt for the Giants. Mitchell deep for Philadelphia. Maynard rockets it off his foot, and it bounds into the end zone. They'll bring it out to the 20. Back at Giants Stadium, Pat Summerall with John Madden. We're in the first quarter. The Giants return the opening kickoff for a touchdown, lead 7-0.
One of the things we know about the Giants defense, Pat, is Jason Sehorn is always going to take Charles Johnson, but there's no one out here on this receiver.
No.
Oops, now they just came out.
Sehorn moved out. The pass is caught, I think, by Charles Johnson, but it might have hit the ground. Incomplete.
Yeah, that's one of the troubles you get once in a while in matching up, is you match up and he goes in the slot. Sehorn goes in the slot with him.
Second down.
And no one goes with the outside receiver.
That was not what they had told us, and we saw him do in practice. Sehorn went with Johnson, but that time somebody had to come wide.
Well, that's a problem. You know, I mean, you can get those matchups, but then someone else has to take care of the other matchups. You see the ball hit the ground there.
3 wide receivers, and now Mitchell goes back in motion. No running backs, and McNabb retreats and throws to Mitchell up near the 30.
That's where Mitchell is such a good player. You know, he's a good special teams guy. He's a good kick returner, and he has been for so long a good receiver coming out of the backfield.
Yep.
Now the Eagles don't have a lot of running backs, so they have to. It's one of those things they call by committee. You know, Chris Warren is going to do some of it. Brian Mitchell will do some of it. Usually when Brian Mitchell is in there like now, it's a passing situation. Although this is third and short.
Third and very short. McNabb sprint right. Trying to get away, doesn't. Throws and has to throw it away. It'll bring up a fourth down. Good defense.
That kind of surprised me that the Eagles didn't substitute and get in some kind of short yardage package, because they were only third and like inches on that play.
Ryan Phillips applied the pressure, and Sean Landeta, who has 2 Super Bowl championship rings to his credit, but when he was playing and punting for the Giants. Amani Toomer back deep for the Giants. By himself.
It's usually Tiki Barber, and because of that broken left arm and the cast on the left arm, he's not returning punts today.
Landeta. Good kick. Toomer. Handled it cleanly. Back at Giants Stadium, 7-0 Giants. Ron Dixon's 97-yard kickoff return on the opening kickoff. The first playoff touchdown kick returned ever by a Giant. And that's how they lead 7-0. First and 10 Giants at their own 36.
Empty backfield.
Gary Collins back. Toomer.
You know, the Eagles have good corners, and they're doubling Amani Toomer, and he still gets that slant. I mean, this is the thing that they run so well, where they just come up and they run inside, and he just does it on Bobby Taylor. The last game, that's what they did. The game before, that's what they did. So I was sure today that they would take away that slant to Amani Toomer. The first time they run it, boom, Toomer gets it.
First down, Giants. Ron Dane is the running back. He gets the toss. Dane, nowhere to go.
Yeah, Dane, if you can keep him going parallel to the line of scrimmage, and that's what defenses are doing to him now. They're getting penetration when he starts to one side, and they don't let him get his shoulder square. And he has to be a power guy. And if he has his shoulders perpendicular to the line of scrimmage, he's not going to make a yard.
He's out, and Tiki Barber's in.
Now, Tiki Barber has his shoulders anyway to the line of scrimmage, and with his quickness and speed, he can still make a play.
He's the deep back on 2nd and 11. Collins gets the screen pass out to Greg Camella. Good play by Vincent. Tiki Barber, as we said, playing with a broken ulna in his left forearm. He has a fiberglass cast over it, plus padding, of course.
You know, the funny thing about that is he broke that against Dallas, and he played against Jacksonville with nothing on it because he knew it was hurt, but he didn't want to miss the game so he wouldn't have an x-ray. After the Jacksonville game, he had an x-ray and found out he had the broken ulna.
The last game of the regular season.
Then they had to buy, and then this is the third thing he's had on that arm. He's had a cast, and he had some other thing on it yesterday, and today he has fiberglass.
Collins to throw, batted down, this time by Brandon Whiting. And the Giants will have to punt.
Yeah, that's the second time in this game that they've knocked down a third down pass. And you see right there, again, just get in that lane. And when you get a push, that time they got a push on Glenn Parker. You see Brandon Whiting get the push on him. Then when he gets ready to throw, boom, just get your hand up there and knock it down. That's the second time they've done that to Kerry Collins on third down.
Maynard back to punt. Brian Mitchell deep for Philadelphia. Mitchell is going to have to let it bounce. And it takes a bit of an eagle bounce. And the Giants down it. Now, I have never seen a sandwich. Could you eat a sandwich like that?
Yeah, well, as a matter of fact, I did last week.
You did?
Yeah, I got one just like that. And you kind of have to break it back down again. You don't. Yeah, I mean, there's no one. Yeah, I mean, oh, you're a big mouth guy. You can get big. No, you can't get your mouth around that. But you kind of break it down, and then you get some more bread, and then you make a bunch of little sandwiches.
I'm amazed you're still upright if you had one.
It's still first down.
Holy smoke.
I didn't cut mine, though. Or they didn't cut mine. I mean,
just took a bite out of it?
Mine just came out in one piece. It wasn't like this. I mean, this guy's cutting it. His hands aren't big enough. My hands were big enough to handle it.
Let's go after the game.
I will say that my mouth wasn't. My hands were. Then they have a scale.
I'm glad to hear that.
What the heck do you have a scale for? What do you think they weigh?
McNabb back to throw. Had time, but no more. Mike Strahan.
Yep, that's a big play for Michael Strahan. That's a big matchup today. John Runyon. You're going to see John Runyon attack here. Now Strahan comes into him, fights him, and then gets off him. You see him get in there, and then he gets him moving.
I got him backwards.
You see, that's what he wanted to do. He said about his fourth step, he said, sometimes you make a move on a guy on your first and second step. He said, you can't do that against John Runyon. He said, against John Runyon, you have to get his feet moving, then you make your move on him about your fourth step. That's what Michael Strahan just did.
Exactly what he did. He got Runyon moving, and then he tossed him to his side.
Watch Michael Strahan here, and we talk about his step. You see 1, 2, 3, 4. Now what he wants to do, you have to feel 1, 2, 3, 4, get him moving, get Runyon moving, then get that right arm inside as Runyon's left foot comes up. And then you go right to the inside. That was a perfect move by Michael Strahan to get Runyon moving and then take his right arm and keep him going that way.
Got him up under the pads. That's Mitchell. Mike Barrow on the stop.
You know, this whole crowd has white flags today. But watch this, Jesse Armstead right here. He hasn't flown. He took it out on the field with him, and all the fans here have the same type of thing. Jesse got one, brought it on the field to get the fans to start to do what they're doing right now.
3rd and 15 at the 18. McNabb back to throw. Deep. Incomplete. Nay Brown was the intended receiver. Couldn't hang on.
And that was one of the places they want to work. If there is a corner they want to work on, it's Dave Thomas right here. They think that they can get some things on him, although he had some help to the inside, so he could play that one a little tighter on Nay Brown.
That's a good throw by McNabb and should have been caught. That should have been an Eagle first down. Landetta skies this one, not his best effort. That's Ike Hilliard who makes the catch and gets to midfield. The NFC Championship game is on Fox. John and I will be there.
Yep, if the Giants win, the Minnesota Vikings come here. If the Eagles win, the Eagles go to Minnesota. Congratulations to Minnesota, Oakland, and Baltimore.
This is Barber. Eagle pursuit is good, and they get him out of bounds. A couple of missed tackles, but the help was there. Let's look at the picture that what happened this weekend. Minnesota beat New Orleans 34-16. They'll play the winner of this game. Oakland shut out Miami 27-0. Baltimore beat Tennessee 24-10. Moss was a hero. Torrey James for the Raiders. Ray Lewis for Baltimore. None of those really surprised except maybe James.
Yeah, I mean, if you know the defensive backs the Raiders have, you wouldn't expect it to be Torrey James, but they did a great job on offense and defense.
They really did. Collins gets it out to Dane. That's only the 4th pass he's caught this year.
You know, one thing, the Eagles are kind of playing a solid defense. They're not blitzing because Jim Johnson wants to see what the Giants are thinking about, you know, and how they want to play. So they're just playing base defense. They haven't blitzed yet. And in doing so, they're allowing them to double team Hugh Douglas, to work on Hugh Douglas. And look at the time Kerry Collins had. I mean, he has so much time. He looked for like 5 receivers before he brought it down to Ron Dane.
Good work by Lomas Brown. 3rd and 6, and here comes the blitz. Collins gets it outside. That's Ike Hilliard, and there's nothing there for Ike. Troy Vincent up in a hurry.
That was their first blitz there, Pat. What Jim Johnson wanted to start this game is very base. If you look, they had 13 plays, and on 12 plays, they didn't blitz. That was their first blitz. He said he wanted to see what formations the Giants had in mind for today, because over the other 2 times, you know, Sean Payton, the offensive coordinator of the Giants, has kind of caught him with some formations and some shifts, and he didn't want to be caught early in this game.
Just over 3 minutes left to play in the first quarter. The Giants leading 7-0. Maynard's kick is a honey. But it takes an Eagle bounce if you're looking for it to go in the end zone, because it went in and out. Tonight at 8 p.m. on Fox Sports Net, on your local cable or satellite provider. The Eagles, no running backs. McNabb outside. Cecil Martin, a couple of jukes that don't take. Armstead made the stop.
Yeah, and that's the thing when you have a guy like Jesse Armstead that can go out there and cover. We look out here, there's no one out there, and finally Jesse Armstead gets out there, and that's why the ball went out there so quickly, because when Donovan McNabb looked out there, there was no one on Cecil Martin.
2nd and 6. Small, and the Giants come up with the ball. Dave Thomas came out of there with it. Small had the first down.
Hey, this is what the Giants need. They start off with a great kickoff return, and then they get the first turnover. As you say, Torrance Small has it. then he goes to put it away, then it's on his side there, and then he just gets hit and it gets knocked out.
Comes back to Thomas.
Sean Williams was the guy that knocked it out. He's really been an active safety, not only in the run, but in the passing game. That play there was about Sean Williams.
It's inevitable that turnovers are going to happen. And when they happen against you, it's just not your day.
Well, this is the third game that these two teams have played, and the Giants haven't had a turnover yet.
Collins back to throw it. Throws it out to Tiki Barber. Good defense again by the Eagles.
And I'll tell you, good pass protection by this offensive line. If there's anything that you can see early here, it's that the fact that the offensive line of the Giants really have this defense of the Eagles under control. Because look at the pocket here. Look at the time Kerry Collins had. I mean, his problem is not that he's being rushed. His problem is that no one was open a few times.
That was Jeremiah Trotter again who made the stop with another good play. Collins has Barber behind him. They fake the result. They throw the screen to Barber. Well set up. Tiki Barber has the first down. Giants at about the 22-yard line of Philadelphia.
Hey, Tiki Barber's a tough little guy. I mean, you get out there and you know that you have to be quick when you're that size. They fake the reverse and then they throw the screen here to Tiki Barber. He gets a good block by his guard, Ron Stone, out there leading him. But I mean, when you play this game and you play as many games as Tiki Barber does, you have to be tough. And then when you're playing it in a playoff game with a broken arm and you can only carry the ball in your right arm, you can't switch it. You're something.
His place has been taken by Ron Dane, and this is Dane for a couple. Barry Gardner made the stop.
They're getting good mixture in there. If you're going to run Ron Dane, this is the place to run him. This is what I'm saying. You just take him, let him get his shoulder square like it is there. Then he can make a little cut right or left. He's not as good when he goes outside the tackle.
2nd and 6. Dane remains in the Giant backfield.
Dane is either good to run inside or to play fake to and throw the ball.
Collins starts Hilliard in motion. Fake to Dane. Looked outside, throws upfield. Incomplete. Greg Camilla was the intended target.
Yeah, because sometimes we were just talking about that. You say, well, why don't they put Tiki Barber in on 2nd down? And I think that when Tiki Barber's in there, you expect pass more. When Ron Dane is in there, you expect run. So therefore, you're either going to run it to Ron Dane, or on that play, you fake it to Ron Dane, make their defense think that it's going to be run, then you go play fake.
Sean Payton, who calls the plays for Kerry Collins for the Giant offense. Barber is back.
Giants have been 0 for 3 on 3rd downs.
This is Barber. And he is stopped at the line of scrimmage. Nothing doing. Good play again by the Eagle defense. That's the end of the first quarter.
Hey, look at this. We knew it was going to be a defensive game, and if it weren't for that first kickoff return by Ron Dixon, we wouldn't really have much offense. Look, there's been 75 total yards offensively, 4 first downs, and those were all by the Giants. 0 for 7 on 3rd down, and there's been 6 punts
already.
First quarter, and that's kind of what you expect, and that's why I think that first kickoff return was such a big thing, because this isn't going to be a high-scoring game, and this field goal is also a big play.
37. There's the wind direction at the bottom of your picture. This is 37 yards out for Brad Danuiso, and he's right down the pipe. 10-0 Giants. You like duck?
Yeah, well, that's the duck. You stick in the chicken, then you stick it in the turkey, and you fly to the moon.
If you have enough power.
You believe that the cow really did jump over the moon.
Did you do anything else this week but eat? The Eagles, Brian Mitchell still going. Brian Mitchell talks a lot, but he plays a pretty good game as well.
Yeah, he's a tough guy. I mean, he's not only an offensive guy, but he's a special teams guy and good tackler and all these types of things. And you look at this Eagle offense, and The last time they played the Giants, their receivers really killed them. They dropped 8 passes. Today, so far in the first quarter, they've already dropped 2 and fumbled 1. So the Eagle receivers have to start playing football if they're going to be in this game.
Fake reverse. This is Chris Warren. Near first down yardage, but not quite.
Yeah, that's a place that's surprising that they go with Keith Hamilton, because we were talking to Andy Reid. He said the one guy on defense, there's probably more than one, but the guy that he's really concerned with is Keith Hamilton. He said that John Wilborn, who's the left guard, is going to have some help blocking Keith Hamilton. We just can't let him have his way all day.
McNabb out to Johnson. And Johnson gets an Eagle first down. Jason Sehorn forced him out of bounds.
Isn't it something? We were talking to Andy Reid last night. He was talking about Charles Johnson and how he hurt his ankle last week and practiced this week and is going to play today. And he said something that surprised me. He said that Charles Johnson is the toughest guy on the Eagle team.
Coy Detmer just checked into the Eagle huddle.
This is a trick play.
Two quarterbacks.
It's going to be to Detmer, and then then he's going to hand it to McNabb, and then he's going to throw it back to Detmer.
McNabb will throw it if he has time, and he throws it away.
I'll show you how it was supposed to look, but Jesse Armstead made a big play. You watch here. Here's Detmer, and here's Donovan McNabb. You see 10 is Detmer, 5 is McNabb. Now he's going to come in motion. He's going to hand him the ball, and he's supposed to stop and throw it back here. And you'll see what happened on that play. You see that they come off with it perfectly.
Cedric
Jones,
yeah.
Right. It was a right end. You see, now Coy Detmer can't run, so it's Cedric Jones who saw that. And I don't know, that's not much of a coverage.
No, it isn't.
Cedric Jones didn't know what the heck is going on, but here's a guy with an eligible number. I'll take him.
2nd and 10. Here's McNabb looking, has a lot of time, and McNabb will take off and slide after he picked up only a couple.
Yeah, that's what the Giants do so well is that they just engulf everything. And again, we saw it earlier where Cornelius Griffin, number 97, was a spy, and we see it again where he's just waiting and comes in to make the play.
3rd and long for Philadelphia. They need 8. They're at the Giant 46.
Here's Griffin right here. This is a situation that they like him in there because he can chase down McNabb.
Mitchell. Close.
Or whomever he throws it to. And that was Cornelius Griffin there. And because he's the guy that has the speed, they use him for these types of things. Here he gets a little rush, and now he comes down and he makes that tackle. This is a big play by Griffin. You're going to see him. See, Jason Sehorn misses the tackle right there. That's not much of a tackle. You got to wrap it up, and he's lucky that 97 Griffin was there to make the play and force the Eagles to have to punt.
Landetta back to punt. Amani Toomer is deep. High kick by Landetta. They let it bounce, and it takes the Eagle bounce this time, and they down it at about the 3-yard line, and now there's a flag on the play. Gerard Cherry was down it. A late flag.
I was talking to Sean Landetta before the game. It's going to be against the Eagles. Anytime you see an official with his hat off, that means that there was an infraction outside the field of play.
Had to be on one of the gunners then.
Right, if someone going out and then coming back in, you can go out as you're chasing the punt. You can go out, but you can't come in and be the first guy to touch
the ball.
Illegal touching by a member of the kicking team, number 25.
Gerard Cherry.
Out of bounds, came back in and was the first to touch the ball. It's a 5-yard penalty. Repeat 4th down.
See, here it is. You see, Cherry can do this. He can get knocked out of bounds. Right there when he stepped on the line, he was out of bounds. Now he can come back in and make a play but he can't be the first guy to touch the ball.
And Seahorn pushed him out of bounds. But regardless of that, he can't be the first guy to come in and touch the ball.
Right, and then when the official saw that, he threw his hat there. That's not a penalty. He's just marking that he did go out of bounds, and he can't be the first guy to come in and touch the ball.
And so Landeta will have to punt again. A hanging kick. Toomer signals fair catch. The Giants get 10 or 11 yards. 10-0. The Giants over the Eagles. The winner plays the Minnesota Vikings. Barber went in motion. That's Greg Camillo getting his token carry.
Did you hear that, though? The Eagles knew that because they were yelling, run, run, run. And then when Tiki Barber ran out, they called trap, trap. So the Eagles knew that formation with that play that was going to be a track to Camillo, and they just played it.
Luke Pettigrew, number 77 in blue, is the man down. Those traps up the middle between Hollis Thomas and Corey Simon. Simon has had a heck of a year. A rookie, and he's a good one.
And he's going to be a good one for a long time. I mean, Hollis Thomas is more of a run stopper, a plugger. But Corey Simon is one of those guys that can plug the run and also be a big pass rusher.
Rosenthal has replaced Pettigrew. They're cutting the tape off Luke Pettigrew's ankle.
You're going to see him right here, and you'll see what happens. Hollis Thomas rolls up on his left leg. See, that's the toughest thing as an offensive lineman. That's how I got mine. I mean, you're blocking, and you don't see or feel that stuff roll up behind you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Not a thing. Camilla moves around. The handoff is to Barber. Straight ahead. Good yardage for Tiki Barber. Barry Gardner made the stop.
They just put Mike Rosenthal in there at right tackle and ran right between he and Ron Stone. You're going to see the blocking right there. You see it's just a trap. They take the tackle to the inside, the end to the outside, and lead through in the backer. See, the tackle goes in, the end goes out, and Camella leads through in the backer. That was very close to a gimme by the Eagle defense.
Like you diagram it. Ron Dane is the deep back. Dane gets the carry, and Dane comes out of the pack. Dane to the 45. Stopped by Damon Moore.
Again, Rosenthal does a good job here because the end can't go up the field. You see, when this end goes up the field, if we can stop it right there. You see, he gets too far up the field, then you do this. Now you're giving him the hole right there. You see, that's a gimme hole there. When you get the end, defensive end going up the field, you pin the tackle there, then you get the hole laterally.
18-yard gain for Dane. 1st and 10 Giants. They run it again. Dane again.
And another pretty good block by old 78 Mike Rosenthal there. This is what it looks like in the umpire cam right here. You see, right here he's going to get the block right there. Rosenthal does on Trotter. See, and that's just enough. He gets number 54 Trotter right there. And that gives Ron Dane just a hole enough to get through.
2nd and 6. Tiki Barber in the Giant offensive setup now. The pitch back to Barber, looking for some place to go, found some room, but not much.
Well, they didn't need that. I mean, they went to that fancy ball handling. That was some kind of counter thing that they tried to fake to the right and then pitch back to the left. One thing that Kerry Collins said that he learned early after they knew that Tiki Barber had a broken arm is don't give him the ball low. On the pitches all have to be up high around his numbers. He said he tried earlier and he pitched him low, and he said the ball just went on the ground. So he said any time with that broken arm that I'm going to pitch, I have to pitch it high.
Collins back in the shotgun formation. Back to throw and throws upfield. The pass is caught by Ike Hilliard. And Hilliard crosses the Eagle 30.
I'll tell you, Kerry Collins is really playing with confidence now, and he's getting great pass protection. You know, we know that Lomas Brown is on Hugh Douglas, and Hugh Douglas is their biggest pass rusher. But watch him here. Boom, boom. He gets a little thing there, and he has had a little help. But Hugh Douglas hasn't made a tackle today. And Lomas Brown, the old 16-year vet, is a big part of giving Kerry Collins this type of protection so he can throw these types of passes.
23-yard gain by Hilliard. First down, Giants. Collins calls a timeout.
Collins looks like a different guy, though, when he has confidence.
Really does.
Doesn't he? And he has it today. There's Mike Mamula, the defensive end of the Philadelphia Eagles, that they're taking off in the cart.
Camelo is the man on the move. The handoff, reverse coming. They drop it, and the Eagles have the ball. Hollis Thomas dropped on it.
You know, and they were playing so well, they didn't need the tricks.
Yep.
The Giants didn't need it. They had first down. They had good field position. They had everything going their way, and they go for the trick. What they do is they hand to Ron Dane here, and then he hands up. That's tough. I mean, anytime you have anyone other than the quarterback hand off the ball, you're taking a big risk. And at that point in the game, with this score, and that point in the field, there was no reason to take that risk. That's a big break for the Eagles.
They finally got a turnover. First and 10 at the 37 for Philadelphia.
That's their first turnover in 10 quarters.
Chris Warren, the ball carrier, doesn't get much.
They said on Mike Mamula, Pat, that it's a foot injury, and they're taking him in for x-ray.
He's had those problems throughout the year.
Yeah, in fact, he wasn't, even starting anymore. Brandon Whiting has been starting the last couple of months at that left defensive end.
2nd and 8. Here's McNabb back to throw with time, throwing deep and overthrowing. That's probably a good thing to Todd Pinkston.
Yeah,
well covered.
That's the receiver with the speed, and that's the guy that they're trying to get the big play to. And they have a couple of packages, and when they're, he's the guy, he's their Ron Dixon, that they sneak in there every once in a while and try and get a big play to. John Fox, defensive coordinator, I think he knows that.
Yep.
And they had double, so he really had to throw that one away.
The Eagles 0 for 4 on third down conversions. And that's been the problem in the other game. There's a throw, incomplete. McNabb intended for Nate Brown. And Brown hadn't even turned around when the ball whistled by him.
Yeah, that was he had pressure on him from his right side. He was trying to throw to his right side, so he saw the pressure. And he knew that he was either going to take a sack here or he had to throw the ball before he was ready. See, and that's what you try and do with pressure. You see, you come out there and you get the pressure and you try and sack him, but if you don't get the sack, the second thing is make him throw before he's ready to.
Landetta has had a busy day. Toomer around 1 and out of bounds at the 30. And Toomer grabbed his knee on the way out. The Giants lead here 10-0. Here's Collins back to throw. Looking. Collins comes out. Slides wisely after he picked up a few.
I'll tell you, they're really doing a job on Hugh Douglas. That time, Lomas Brown blocked him and then kind of laid on top of him so that Kerry Collins could get out there. That's Sean Payton calling the plays. That was one of the things they were worried about was Hugh Douglas. But when you have a guy like Lomas Brown, and he's been playing 16 years, he may get beat once or twice, but he's not going to let anyone embarrass him.
He's got a few tricks.
And he used them on that last play.
Second down and long. This is Barber. And there's no place to go. He lost a couple.
And they are not going to let Hugh Douglas have his way today, and they haven't.
He's got to be careful he really doesn't get frustrated and say, I can't get there. Here comes an Eagle blitz. Collins has a man open, incomplete. Almost post. He threw it off his back foot. Ron Dixon had found some room. Al Harris.
And he had it there. He just left it in the air too long. You're going to see that's what they try and do on Al Harris. You want to do a double move. Ron Dixon does it perfectly. Kerry Collins didn't get the ball out there.
He just didn't have time.
Yep. And that's very close to pass interference.
Yes, it is.
Al Harris, number 31, the third corner of the Eagles, wasn't looking back, wasn't looking at the ball.
Ryan Mitchell back deep for the Eagles. Maynard to punt. This one he can do some work with. No, he can't. Good coverage by the Giants. Lyle West.
If West doesn't make that tackle, that's going to be a big play.
The Giants have kept the ball as they did in the other two meetings when they defeated the Eagles. And today, once again, they've controlled the clock.
You know, in the first game, they were ahead 20-3 at half, and the second game was 14-0 at half for the Giants.
McNabb looks backwards. Giants showing blitz. McNabb looks and throws. No flags. Torrance Small, the intended receiver.
And that's who they're trying to work on. Anytime they're going to go deep, they're going to try and get it against Dave Thomas. Did you see on that last punt? Watch this, what happened to Brad Maynard. You can't just stand around and look.
Not if you have not if you have the other color jersey on.
No, and he was just standing there looking around, thought everything was nice day here in the Meadowland. And then, boom, he got knocked right out of the picture.
I learned that my first year. McNabb is going to take off and falls forward for a couple of yards, not much. Strahan tripped him up.
I bet you kicked off and then you were watching the ball, weren't you?
That's exactly right.
Yep, that's what you get. I had Carl Weathers once, and he got a guy like that. You see, that's the lane that you can't give McNabb. But if you do give it to him, you better close it down quickly the way Michael Strahan did. Strahan's having a pretty good game today.
Yes, he is.
He's playing against a good tackle in John Runyon, but he's gotten pressure, and that's big, not letting McNabb get away on a run.
0 for 5 on third down. The Eagles, there's the ball loose. The Giants have it.
Great play by Michael Strahan.
A flag on the play.
That was Strahan again. He bull rushed. Runyon weighs 330 pounds, and he bull rushed him.
Cedric Jones recovered the fumble, but there's a penalty on the play. Indications are it might be against the Giants.
There was no foul for defensive holding on the play, as the ball had already come loose. I rule no foul. First down, Giants.
First down, Giants.
Now we can watch Michael Strahan and the job that he does. I mean, he's the guy. He puts his helmet right in McNabb's chest. But I'll tell you, before that, to get there, he ran right over John Runyon. This is going to be some play. Watch Michael Strahan here. This is an all-pro move here. Gets off on the ball, gets him, pushes him right back, knocks him over, runs over him, and then into McNabb and causes a fumble. That is a big time. If you're a defensive lineman, you live for these types of things.
Cedric Jones wound up with the ball, but that was all Strahan.
With Strahan, I mean, that's what you live for. That's why you lift them weights. That's why you go to those meetings.
First and 10 at the Eagle 26. Barber inside the 20.
We talked to Michael Strahan yesterday, and he said when you play against a guy like John Runyon, it's different. I mean, he's big and he's strong, and you have to set up your bull rush. In fact, he says he customizes his game to every offensive tackle he plays against. I'll tell you, the game that he customized for John Runyon today is pretty doggone good.
Pretty effective. Outstanding day for Strahan. Barber got 6. Dane has replaced him. Second and 4. Straight ahead is Dane. First down.
Yeah, at some point, you have to listen to Jim Fossil's promises.
You
he was
do.
talking earlier in the week, and Ron Dane had kind of been in a slump, and He says Ron Dayne's going to come out of a slump and run better, and he's sure starting to do it in the first half of this game, but you have to give him runs like this. You see where he can come in, square those shoulders like that, and just run through a gap. Not run with the shoulders perpendicular.
Run through arm tackles. He can do that. 1st and 10. That's Barber. Ball's loose. Barber had the ball knocked loose. The Eagles are saying we got it.
That's the second time
they do.
The Giants get good field position. They get down here, and then they have a fumble.
Recovered by Damon Moore.
This is the thing that Tiki Barber was worried about. He can only carry the ball in one hand,
right,
and it has to be in his right hand. Then he got it knocked out of there by Damon Moore,
who also made the recovery.
That was a heck of a play.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing when you have a cast in your arm and you're a skill position guy, that they're going to go for that arm and go. I mean, they go for the ball all the time anyway, but I think there's a little added incentive when you have that cast there.
2:49 left to play in the first half. The Eagles escape. McNabb fires outside, complete to Johnson.
Well, I'll tell you, Strahan is really having his way with John Runyon. And John Runyon's a good tackle, but he's just pushing him around. Watch what he does here. He starts outside to make him move, and then he's going to give him that hump. You see, you start out there, then you move him, and just go right inside of him. John Runyon, he has his hands full today.
Yes, he does. And he's a big guy and a good tackle, as you say.
I might have to think of giving him a little help over there.
2nd down, the Giants show blitz for a moment. That's Mitchell. Mitchell out to about the 25. $10-0, the Giants over the Eagles.
As we look at a clouded shot of the moon.
Yeah. Clouds moving in under the moon. That's logical.
If you have the reverse of that, we're upside down.
Yeah. We're on top of that sandwich. Here's McNabb. This time he has time. And he throws it away. That's the first time this afternoon that he's had any kind of time to throw.
Yeah, and you can see, Donovan McNabb is only a second-year quarterback in this league. Andy Reid has done an excellent job with him, but at some point when you can't get anything going, frustration sets in. And the biggest thing to stop that frustration is a little success, but I think the fact that they're only down by 10 still gives them a little hope. They haven't been able to do anything, and they're only down by 10 points.
McNabb throws. And the pass is almost picked up. It is picked up. Sehorn came up with it. Jason Sehorn is going to take it in. He missed his first effort and came up with a bounce.
And that's a frustration we're just talking about. Your time is a little off. You start to force things. Great coverage by Jason Sehorn. He's the athlete in that secondary. And he's the guy that you think they're going to throw to is the guy you want Jason Sehorn on. Just going to see him out here, and he just gets the jump right there. He was back, he waited, and then he saw that ball and got the jump on it. That was quite a catch.
Yeah, it really was. This may be, they're going to review it.
The field.
Yep. If they had kicked the extra point, they couldn't do this. They're reviewing.
I didn't think that the ball hit anything, and he's not touched, so he's not down by contact. The ball never hits the ground. There's no contact of him. He catches the ball. The first guy that touches him is his own guy, so that has to be a touchdown. But I never did think that the ball hit the ground.
This is an official's review.
Yeah, the last 2 minutes of a half or the game, it's the official's review, not the coach's. So I don't know what the officials thought they saw up there.
Well, that second look we had at it was better than the first look we had.
I mean, there could have been a couple things. One, that they thought the ball hit the ground, or two, that they thought someone touched Jason Sehorn and he was down by contact. But as we saw the review there,
well, let's look again.
You see,
nobody touched
down
him.
there. The ball hasn't touched the ground. Still doesn't touch the ground. Bat in the air. Sehorn still not touched by an opponent.
That's a heck of an effort.
And now you got to play.
That is one heck of an effort by Jason Sehorn.
When you put the baseball cap on and get the smile, I think he knows that it's not going to be overturned.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands as called. The defender intercepted the ball before it hit the ground, was not touched down by contact, into the end zone, touchdown.
So touchdown by Jason Sehorn from 32 yards away. A kickoff return of 97 yards by Dixon, and a 32-yard touchdown run by Sehorn after an interception.
And look at this crowd now. Doesn't this remind you of 1986?
Oh, yeah.
The Washington Redskins, the championship game here against the Giants, and the feeling in this stadium feels like that.
Seems like we never left. The extra point is good by Daniel Iso.
And we talked about Donovan McNabb, getting frustrated. You can see that Hamilton knocked him down, and he saw that, and he tried to get over there, but he just didn't have any angle. But that was a great play by Jason Sehorn.
That was one heck of a catch. Yeah, great play. That's all you can say about it.
Did you play with that guy there, that old number 7?
I may have.
Fossil's outstanding men. I'll tell you, there's Tiki Barber's brother, Rondé Barber, twin brother, Rondé Barber.
The cornerback for the Buccaneers.
Yeah. I think he's either talking to himself or talking to someone on the phone.
Yeah.
They got these cell phones, and everyone, no matter where you go, people are talking on phone.
Kick return for a touchdown, a field goal off an Eagles fumble, and that interception returned for a touchdown by Sehorn. That's gotten the damage done for the Giants, who lead now 17-0.
Yeah, and the Eagles just don't have enough offense to overcome those types of things. And this place, just before halftime, is going nuts. Everyone is standing.
Plus, the Eagles played last week and the Giants didn't.
Yeah, and plus these fans know, and these players know, and these coaches know, if the Giants win, Minnesota has to come here and play the championship game.
Short kick. Brian Mitchell will return it. Mitchell cuts back and stays on his feet close to midfield. Coming up on the Visa halftime report, JB, Terry, Howie, and Chris will have highlights and analysis of today's divisional playoff games. Chris Carter is also live with us, and our Fox Sports ticker will have up to the second stats. That's all coming up on the Visa halftime report. Chris Carter had a heck of a day yesterday, didn't he?
How about Randy Moss?
Yeah.
I mean, there's the guy, I've always called him a field tilter, because anytime he gets his hands on the ball, it can be a touchdown.
And it was yesterday. Here's McNabb. Hands off to Mitchell. I think based on that call, the Eagles have just decided, hey, we hope nothing else happens, and let's go in the locker room at the half and regroup.
Well, they're going no huddle, though. I don't think this is a field position to do that. I think they have pretty good field position. They ought to take some shots.
Well, maybe he's taking one right now. This is McNabb. Pass is caught by Torrance Small. He gets knocked down hard inbound, so the clock continues to run.
Yeah, I was surprised by that first down run, because this is good field position.
That's their second.
Look at what Michael Strahan's doing now. He just keeps going. I mean, he's putting unbearable pressure on Donovan McNabb in his first half, and he's done it different ways.
Runyon just has to dread lining up on a play when he sees him over there, because he's just dominated two teams in the first two meetings.
And neither one of these offenses are good enough to give turnovers and come back and win.
McNabb. Johnson out of bounds at about the 13-14-yard line.
This is a good thing for the Philadelphia Eagles because they didn't have any confidence. They were starting to get a little frustrated. And if they get a score here, they can go into that locker room with a little confidence. Because I don't think they had a lot coming into this game.
They didn't.
And they haven't gotten any in this first half until right now.
Well, they should get at least 3 out of this. 52 seconds left. They have 1 timeout remaining. 1st and 10 at the Giant 13. They really haven't been in this end of the field. Here comes the Giant blitz. McNabb throws again. Outside the 10, about the 11. Johnson makes the reception. He takes the last timeout.
And because he threw to the inside, that's a problem with throwing to the inside and only having 1 timeout. If you complete it, you have to take your timeout.
Situation like this is when McNabb is really dangerous.
Well, he has 2 downs here. He has the 2nd and 3rd down before they have to go for a field goal. With no timeouts, you can't throw the ball short of the end zone. So I think the plays have to be you can't run it now, and you have to throw it, and you have to throw it to the sideline or into the end zone.
And if he does choose to run it, he's got to get into the end zone. This is the last timeout.
Although they can get a first down. I mean, he could run it for a first down, get up there and spike the ball and do those types of things, but that's not the odds play. I mean, the odds are that you have to throw 2 into the end zone. Or if you complete that first one, then you kick an extra point.
Yeah, that's very true. And there's still time left on the clock. Hamilton. Christian Peter. Strahan. They've all done a wonderful job for the Giants in the first half. McNabb, incomplete, almost picked off.
Yeah, that's a bad call, a bad throw. You don't want to do that. I mean, that was, throwing into the middle on the 5-yard line. Those are things that you don't want to do. If
now
you say,
they're down to 1 down.
Yeah, and now you have to throw this in the end zone. I mean, they had 2 guys in the end zone, but he has to throw it there. And what you do is you just put a guy at that second pylon, and you throw it to that second pylon in the back of the end zone.
The fade.
Right, and either your guy catches it or it goes out of bounds.
3rd and 7. Here's McNabb back to throw. Pumps. Now he's going to take off, and now he looks backwards and fires, and touchdown. Torrance Small made a diving catch, and he didn't catch it. McNabb is still down, but there's a flag on the play.
And the official said no. He started. It looked like he caught it. The official was right there on top and said that he didn't catch it. I think McNabb, what the signal is here, that he went over the line of scrimmage before he threw the ball.
Torrance Small, carrying his left arm, made a diving effort at it.
That'll be loss it down.
Yep. So they'll have to
Pass was incomplete in the end zone. There was an ineligible man by the offensive team, number 72, illegally downfield. That penalty is declined. Brings up 4th down.
So here comes the field goal unit.
Yeah, McNabb did run back. So it was Trey Thomas. It's the left tackle. You see, but you're protecting, and then now you think he's running, so he goes up. But you see what McNabb came back, and Trey Thomas, the tackle, kept going up. But again, we see Torrance Small here. He fell down. In fact, I think he may have hurt himself when he fell down.
Yeah, he did. He landed on his left shoulder. Akers for the field goal. And Akers is good from 28 yards. And the Eagles get on the scoreboard. 17-3 the score. Coming up on the Visa Halftime Report, JB, Terry, Howie, and Chris will have highlights and analysis of today's divisional playoff games. Chris Carter's in the studio live, or maybe not in the studio. And our Fox Sports sticker will have up to the second stats. That's all coming up on the Visa Halftime Report.
Hey, did you see that halftime when Chris Collinsworth, in the pregame, when Chris Collinsworth was with Michael Strahan? Michael Strahan scared the heck out of him, and then he continued that and did the same thing, I think, to John Runyon. I mean, he took that attitude that he gave to Chris Collinsworth. Chris didn't know what the heck to do.
He scared Chris?
Oh, he scared the heck out of Chris because he told him, you guys don't respect this. You talk about it. Now you come here and try and be nice to me. Chris started backpedaling, and he got him. Strahan got Chris Collinsworth a lot like he got John Runyon.
Runyon saw that?
No, but he got him on that fourth step. And he thought he was going to bull rush him, Collinsworth did, on the first step. And he got him on that fourth step.
Akers to kick it off. Dixon will start this one from the 7. And he's got some room again. Dixon sprints out of bounds at about the 30.
Remember that Jason Sehorn, this one, he keeps all the stuff together.
Right.
I mean, nothing falls off. His pants come down a little.
But didn't fall off.
No, but they didn't fall off. There was a string in there that holds those pants, the zipper together.
17-3 at the half as the teams head for the locker room. The turnovers have been the things that have contributed to the scoring. That's the end of the first half.
Giant defense in this first half has played outstanding.
Actually, the Eagle defense hasn't played that poorly.
No, they haven't. You know, the thing that they want to do is take away Amani Toomer. Amani Toomer has only caught one pass. And the thing they haven't done, though, the Eagles are a big blitzing team, and they've only blitzed a couple times in that first half.
Daiuiso's kickoff fielded by Mitchell at the 11. Mitchell down at about the 27. McNabb's passing chart in the first half.
Well, you can see that the complete ones are the gold ones, the incomplete are red, and the interceptions are blue. And you can see, as usual, most of his passes, his completed passes, are in that area under 10 yards. And he had only one play, only one completion over 20 yards. So the thing that does, and that's the way the Eagles pass, though, is that tends to bunch up the defense on you. You don't stretch that defense, and they tend to get tighter and tighter to the line of scrimmage.
McNabb pitches back to Warren. Chris Warren. And Warren might get a yard. That's all. Ryan Phillips up to make the stop.
And the Giants have put a lot of pressure on McNabb. We know a lot of it is out here, and that's Michael Strahan. Sacked once, hit 3 times, hurried 4 times. Inside 1, 1, and 2. He hasn't been sacked from the 2 tackles in those holes. He's been hit 2 times, and he hasn't had much from the defensive right side of the Giants. You can see most of the pressure has really come from the left side or from Michael Strahan.
A quick throw is almost picked off. Pressure from Strahan again, and a blitz from the other side.
Almost picked off by Strahan. Yep. That was a zone blitz, and Strahan back like that. Watch Mike Barrow. He comes in there. He takes a shot by Runyon. He knocks Runyon down. He knocks Runyon down. But on that play, on that last play, it was a zone blitz, and Michael Strahan, instead of rushing the passer, he dropped back like a linebacker and almost intercepted the pass.
Third and 11. McNabb back to throw. Incomplete. Good coverage by Thomas. All over Nate Brown.
And what they did that time is a 3rd down. They're not going to let Donovan McNabb run, so they have a 3-man line. You see, they only rush 3. They keep the linebacker, Mike Barrow, in there to just spy or shadow McNabb. They're not going to let him run and come up with a big play. 3-man rush, then you have 1 spy and 7 defenders.
Good job by the Giant defense. This is a good punt by Landella. Toomer back to field it. Looking for room. Enough speed to get around the corner.
This is what you have to do when you have mud on that field, is you have to get a brush and get the mud out of the cleats.
Here's Collins back in the pocket, and he's got a lot of room. Slides right at midfield.
Yeah, he ran that one, but let's look at his passing chart here. You see again, most of his stuff is under 15 yards because he also has only completed 1 over 20 yards. But the Giants have been a little more successful in that they've been able to get a little running going and a little mixture going. Again, you can see his incompletes are also the short ones. And the Giants also, with their passing game, really don't stretch the defense. And as I said, the Eagles wanted to take away Amani Toomer. He's only caught 1 pass.
2nd and 1. The handoff is straight ahead to Tiki Barber. 1st down, Giants.
Yeah, that's the thing with Tiki Barber. You always think that he's going to be a pass receiver and he's going to be an outside runner, but you get a guy like that, and you look at how tough he is to see in there.
Yep.
I mean, if you're a defender and you got a blocker on you and a little 21 down low behind, you can see the blocker, the big blue jersey in front of you, but you can't see that little one behind him.
He's kind of short, but he is stocky.
And then he's short, and then he runs low, so
Yep.
now he's shorter.
Howard Cross is the man on the move. That's Barber again, and let's take you down right now to DJ Johnson.
Hey guys, Jim Fossil said his defense has given them great field position all day, and that's very important because the Eagles themselves have a great defense and it's hard to drive the length of the field. He said on offense, they've moved the ball pretty well. They haven't done a good job of getting the ball in the end zone. Now, Andy Reid said his team needs to establish offense, and he says any kind of offense, whether it's run or pass, they have to do something to keep their defense off the field. Back up to you, Pat.
There's the guys. Excuse me.
No, I was just going to say they have to have some success on 3rd down. They can't convert 3rd down.
Here is Collins again, and he takes off and runs across the 40, about the 38. That'll bring up a 3rd down.
Gary Collins thinks he's the other number 5.
Yep. Both quarterbacks number 5.
Well, the thing is they're giving them lanes now. You know, they haven't been able to get a lot of pressure on them, and they didn't blitz. And I think that's one of the tough things with Hugh Douglas is he's having to rush without a blitz. So they're able to double team him and get a little help on him. And he really, I mean, he's their big guy, but he really hasn't been a factor thus far in the game.
3rd and 6. Here comes an Eagle blitz. Collins got rid of it early. Intended for Toomer, incomplete.
Toomer still has only caught 1 pass. We watched Hugh Douglas on that play, and that's what a zone blitz is. You see where the end drops out. You see him, he draws a block, then he drops out, and he becomes a linebacker, and then you blitz your linebacker, and you can still play zone defense.
That's something the Eagles didn't do much in the first half. Blitz for pressure. Now they got to do something.
They have to blitz for pressure and hope for turnovers.
Maynard line drive punt. And he lines it out of bounds. Let's see where. At the 13-yard line. The NFC Championship game, don't forget, is on Fox. Here's McNabb. From behind, he slides. He might.
You know, it's interesting that Michael Strahan isn't in there. Cornelius Griffin, that we saw play earlier, mostly as a tackle and a spy, is now playing left end for Strahan.
There's Strahan on the sideline.
And then they have Christian Peter in there and Keith Hamilton. So, in essence, they're playing with 3 defensive tackles, and maybe that's to stop the run to keep them down here, or to give Strahan a break. But when you got a guy who's hot like Michael Strahan, I have no idea why you would take him out now.
Here's McNabb back to throw. Fires hard at Chris Warren, who makes the catch, but not many yardage. Jesse Armstead made the stop.
I think Michael Strahan is just waiting for 3rd down. We see him coming in, and this is a reason that you don't take him out. I mean, this is what he's done so far. I mean, he's put the pressure on McNabb. He's contained him. He's just caused fumble. I mean, he's raised a heck of a lot of havoc in this game.
He just run over John Runyon at one time. Strahan is back now.
Yeah, maybe he just wanted to play the third and long.
So what can rush the passer, 3rd and 8.
Philadelphia's 0 for 8 in 3rd down.
Here comes the giant blitz. And McNabb is down, taken down by the spy, Cornelius Griffin.
Cornelius Griffin has done a heck of a job at spying.
He really has.
Because we knew that, Jim Fassel told us that he's the only guy in the defensive line that can do it. So he's going to be the guy. You see, he gets a rush and then backs out, and then he's the spy. Now, being a spy and being that big, then you have to be able to make the tackle, too. It's one thing to say, I'm going to spy him, I'm going to shadow him, I'm going to plaster him, but I got to tackle him in the open field.
Another kick and a good one by Landeta. Chases Toomer back to about the 38. Fumble! The Giants, I think, got it, maybe not. The Eagles are saying we got it. Of course they would.
2 officials lost their hats. We got the umpire cam in there. Well, this is a skirmish. You're talking playoff football. You're talking loser goes home, winner goes on.
They signal Eagles. Thomason down there.
He didn't have it, though.
Reese. Who comes out with it? I think it was Luther Broughton, but I'm not sure. Mike Bartram comes out of the pile with it.
Yeah, Mike Bartram is a snapper, and he's the 3rd tight end. In fact, last week after Chad Lewis got hurt, he had to play some tight end.
And he came up with a big recovery for Philadelphia.
And he's the long snapper. He's the guy that started that play by snapping it and then getting down there and making the play. Amani Toomer didn't look very aggressive on that return. I mean, you got to take that ball and boom, take it up there and get that, but you can't jump and dance around and stand there and get hit like that.
Well, it's sort of strange for him. He doesn't usually do that. Here's McNabb up the middle. Chris Warren inside the 20 to about the 19.
This is the reason when we talk about turnovers that the Giants can't have turnovers, because it gives the Eagles a short field. And you can just see what they do with a short field. Now they got protection. Now they can run and pass. Now they can open things up a little. I mean, they're not a deep passing team anyway, but the closer they get to the goal line, the more they play Eagle offense.
On 1st down, it's Warren again, and he is hammered out of bounds. Strahan led the tacklers. Warren,
Strahan and Sam Garnes is up there too. I mean, this is what Strahan does well. He takes on a blocker and then comes right down the line, right where he's going. Sam Garnes, a strong safety, up to keep the containment, and Michael Strahan are running right down the line, flattening out.
And now McNabb's got to throw it. He's got Mitchell in the game with him in the backfield. Time up the middle to about the 13. Caught by Chad Lewis, who had become his favorite target, but they've shut him down pretty well today.
Well, Chad Lewis was injured last week. Remember, he got a stinger.
Yep.
And that's why you saw, remember, Jeff Thomason? I think we're a little close for Jeff Thomason. He's caught like 11 passes for the Eagles this year, 6 of them for touchdowns.
3rd and 3. 0 for 9 on 3rd down for the day for Philadelphia. Johnson's the man in motion. McNabb fakes. A lot of time to look. Throws a grounder.
0 for 10.
Reed wants the field goal team.
He has to go for the field goal because he has plenty of time. You see, now this is what McNabb is looking at. You see, he comes off his fake and he's trying to get the ball out here. That's what he's trying to do. and then he wasn't open soon enough, or maybe he left a little early, and now he's coming back. You see, had he stayed with his original read, he probably could have completed it out there.
From 30 yards out, Akers missed it. That's the way the wind was going, but the wind didn't affect that one. He just pulled it. Back at Giants Stadium, Pat Summerall, John Madden, 17-3. The Giants lead, have the ball at their own 20. Ron Dane is the deep back. Hand off Dane. About 5.
Part of the Giants' plan today is be able to run the ball, and I think that's helped keep this defensive pressure down. Look, Kerry Collins has not been sacked from anywhere. No sack. He's been hit 3 times, but that's all in the middle, and he's been hurried like 5 times, 6 times. But look here, here's the big thing. He has no sacks, no hits, no hurries from the defensive right side or his left side where Lomas Brown's protected.
2nd and 5. That's Dane again, and he got a first down.
Jim Fossil's really looking good now. We talked about earlier how he said, you know, I guarantee we'll be in the playoffs. And then this week he kind of said the same thing about Ron Dane. He said Ron Dane is going to play more. Ron Dane is going to be effective, and he is going to be a big asset for us in these playoffs.
That clock keeps running.
We saw Ron Dane yesterday at the donut trough.
We did.
Eating donuts.
He wasn't by himself.
He has to buy the donuts.
Here he is again. Here's Dane to the 35.
Well, Dane's getting a little action in there. He's getting the feel of this game. And when you're going to fight like that and run like that, you need a little donut on Saturday. But they have a rule, the Giants, that the #1 draft choice has to buy the donuts on Saturday. You can look, you see touches versus the Eagles, 21 for Dane, 14 for Tiki Barber the first time, 26 for Dane, 18 for Tiki Barber, and then 11 for Dane, 13 for Tiki Barber. So Ron Dane against the Eagles has been a pretty big part of their plan.
Collins throws too high. Amani Toomer, the intended receiver.
Monty Toomer still only caught 1 pass. That was the thing when Jim Johnson, and we were talking about that last. I think that's the first time I remember doing Giants games when a defensive coordinator was worried about a wide receiver, said he had to take someone away.
Since maybe a Homer Jones.
Yeah, we've been together 20 years ago. That was before Homer Jones was before that. But I've never heard anyone, and that's what I've always thought the Giants lacked.
Collins takes a timeout. Fine dining.
Yeah, they either need a little less food or a little more table there.
I'm glad they don't have one of those sandwiches we saw earlier.
Man, you don't go to a place like that for a sandwich like that. A place like that, you have to figure out which utensil you use.
Here's Collins, chased and throws it away. And the Giants are going to have to punt. Corey Simon put the pressure on Collins.
You know, Michael Strahan never sits down.
Yeah.
He says that's one thing that other guys do. He said they go sit in the heaters and anything. That's a mistake. That you get warm and you get cold. You get warm and cold. And the other thing, you kind of sit down, you cramp up and stuff. During a game, Michael Strahan never sits. I remember when George Foreman was fighting, and he would never sit between rounds because he didn't want to use the energy to get up off the stool.
High kick by Maynard. Bounces kind of sideways and now rolls down inside the Eagle 30. 17-3 the Giants over the Eagles. 4:40 left in the third. McNabb back to throw. Screen pass. Mitchell. Mitchell out of bounds. Jason Sehorn took him out.
Yeah, you look at Jason Sehorn, and they've thrown at him 3 times. They've completed 2. for 10 yards, and he has one interception, and that was a touchdown. I'll tell you, but I think the other corner, too, I think Dave Thomas is playing well because the Eagles came in with their game plan. It was to go after Dave Thomas. I think every time they've done Dave Thomas has shut him down.
Pass caught by Nate Brown, who got up and ran. Dave Thomas was not playing on that play.
Now that was Emmanuel McDaniel was in there. In fact, and he wasn't touched. He didn't touch him. He catches the ball. McDaniel doesn't touch him.
The Eagles, no huddle, hurrying up.
There's no one out on that far receiver. They better take a timeout.
Yep.
There was no one out here. They're in a form and nickel, and as you said, Dave Thomas wasn't there.
Now Thomas comes in.
Yeah, that was a strange thing. They say now it's a challenge.
Yep.
They're going to challenge that last play. But look what here. If they would have just got up there and just snapped that ball, there's no one looking. There's no one out here. And he looked out there and just thrown the ball. It would have been a touchdown.
The Giants are challenging the ruling on the field that the pass was completed.
Dave Thomas had leg cramps. This is a Giant challenge. The ball is right at midfield. Here's the challenge.
Yeah, he caught it.
Yep.
He caught it. It wasn't touchdown. See, I mean, that could be, you could challenge the two things. One, did he catch it? And two, was he down by contact?
Nope.
He caught it. And he wasn't down by contact. Now he has it and gets up and runs with it. So I don't think there's anything there. Jim Fossil hasn't had a real good record as far as the challenge.
No,
I don't think he's going to win this one. And he even has, in addition to his staff up in the booth, he also has two officials up there to help him.
Now, he was touched, but before the ball got there, I think.
This is just to see if it was contact, because if after he catches it, he's touched, then he's down by contact. So they could rule two things. One, it was an incomplete pass, but that wouldn't be right. Or two, it was down where he caught it, down by contact.
Right.
I don't know what Jim Fossil or his staff challenged, but it doesn't make any difference. Whatever the referee sees on that.
Well, he was touched, but he's not down as a result of contact.
But once he has the ball, if he's touched, then that's contact.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure he had the ball when the contact was made. Well, we'll have an answer in just a second. Ed Hockley.
The referee, this is the playoffs, so they have all-star crews. This isn't his regular crew.
After reviewing the play, the pass was complete. However, the receiver was touched down by contact after catching the ball. Therefore, the ball will be placed on the 42.5-yard line. The clock should be reset to 4 minutes, and it will be second down. There is no timeout charge to the Giants.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yep,
I mean, I agree that he caught the ball, and I agree that he was touched after he got the ball. So that challenge did work. So they get the completion, but they only get it to the point of the completion. I kind of think that, that this is a thing that, the challenge, the instant replay is here to stay. And they have to vote for it every year, and I think it's a good thing, and it's something that as they do every year, they'll get better at it.
Well, the scoreboard says third down. On the sideline, it says second down.
It is second down.
It is second down.
It's second down, yeah. And we see Dave Thomas is back here now. had cramps or something in his leg that he was trying to work out, and that's why he wasn't in there on that last play.
And they went to work right away on his replacement. And now they're going to work on him. And it hit the Giant defender in the head, Sean Williams.
Yeah, Sean Williams was coming over to double cover. I mean, they know that they're going to try and work out there on Dave Thomas, so they're giving him help. So that time he had inside help. Here's the inside help from Sean Williams. Sean Williams going over there to help, and lo and behold, he gets doinked in the back of the head.
And it brings up a big third down. 3rd and 6. Here's McNabb back in the pocket, and now he comes out of the pocket. And McNabb is going to run. And he got close to a first down.
That's going to be awfully close.
Yep.
Because, again, I think he stretched the ball out because it's not where he goes out of bounds or down, but it's where the ball is when he goes out of bounds or down, and that's a first down. Is it one thing? They had this thing pretty well under control. Then they started to get up the field. You see, that time, John Runyon got Michael Strahan. Strahan got beyond Donovan McNabb.
A flag on the play.
Ball start by the offense, number 76. 5-yard penalty. It's still 3rd down.
Again, on the previous play, Cornelius Griffin, who's been spying McNabb, is the guy who knocked him out of bounds.
Yeah, and he's done an excellent job
really
on
has.
McNabb. That time, McNabb got him, and he got a first down. And I think John Runyon also got Michael Strahan. One place, as a pass rusher, you never want to be is behind the quarterback. He's not going to lateral to you.
Look how wide Strahan was, and now he backs out. Here comes the blitz. And the Giants are successful as Jesse Armstead got there first with help from Emmanuel McDaniel.
That's that zone blitz. We saw Strahan is going to drop out. Then you overload the other side. Strahan is here. He drops out. Then you bring the pressure from this side. So you bring the pressure from the right. You drop your left end, and then he's looking for the cross. McNabb didn't see that backside pressure coming. Watch him. See, he doesn't see it right there.
Yep.
Very effective call by the defensive coordinator of the Giants, John Fox.
McNabb incomplete. Fernet Brown not there.
And we talk about Giants that are having a big day today. Jesse Armstead is having a big day. He has 8 tackles so far.
You could almost single out anyone on that defensive unit.
And that's why, and that's true. I mean, and the reason is they're doing so well is they're playing well as a unit. It's not just one guy or 2 guys or 3 guys or one position. It's the whole 11.
3rd and 28. McNabb drops the throw. Pass is caught. Not nearly enough for a first down. Luther Broughton made the reception.
And listen to this crowd here, Pat. They've always, I mean, all these years we've been doing Giant games, they've always loved their defense, know defensive football, and appreciate their defense.
That goes back to when I was playing. Back to the 50s. They loved the defense.
Andy Robustelli and the guys?
Robustelli and Sam Huff.
Yep.
Toomer is back. Landetta gets off a dandy. Toomer lets it hop. And it's going to roll dead at about the Giant 3.
Well, that was a great punt by Sean Landetta. Toomer had the old rule, you stand on the 10-yard line. If it goes over your head, you let it go.
Today's game is being produced by Bob Stenner, directed by Sandy Grossman. The associate director is Mike Roig. The broadcast associates are Charles McDonnell and Wayne Wilson. Technical producer is Bob Muller. Technical director is Joe Abenda. The audio supervisor is Fred Aldous. Pre-game show was produced by Scott Ackerson. Directed by Bob Levy. The associate director is Jennifer Love. And the senior producer is Bill Brown. The executive producers of Fox Sports, Ed Gorin and David Hill. Dane hammers over the right side. This is Tiki Barber. I beg your pardon.
You know, that's one thing about that, you know, thunder and lightning and using both of them is Dane will go outside and Tiki Barber will go inside. You know what they're doing over there? They're going to give Dave Thomas an IV. I bet you he's just dehydrated and getting cramps.
Has to be. I know he was getting cramps.
Yeah, and you could see even when he was in on that last play, he was getting cramps. So instead of taking him in and giving him an IV, they're just giving him one right there in the sideline.
2nd down and 8. Collins drops the throw. Throws up the middle, complete. Pete Mitchell, a tight end, makes the reception. There's the struggle for the ball.
There's old Glenn Parker. The old guard, he hurt his knee just a few weeks ago. Had it scoped and only missed one game. Told me before the game that he could have played the next week, not missed any games. He's Parker right there. He's a left guard, and we see it from here. I'll tell you that Gary Collins is so strong that he can have guys hanging on him and still make a throw like that.
Well, Collins is a big guy. He's about 6'5" and 230.
Oh, Glenn Parker there. When you're an offensive lineman, no one helps you.
No.
They just leave you down there. In fact, he told, and he's pointing to his back on this one, but he said when he tore his cartilage, he said he tore the thing right off. And he said the surgery was really done here in the field. All they had to do was pull it out.
The only guy who's going to give him any support other than the training staff that finally gets there is Lomas Brown, who's playing next to him.
That's right, and appreciates him. Glenn Parker is an 11-year offensive lineman, veteran in the NFL.
Played at Buffalo.
Lomas Brown's a 16-year veteran. Not the greatest of bodies. Most offensive.
I really don't feel like I can make a comment about that.
You know, one of the defensive players, either Jesse Armstead or Michael Strahan, was saying the other day, said, you know, he said, I was looking at Glenn Parker, you know, in the shower the other day, and I was thinking, how the heck does that body play? That body plays because that body knows how to play football.
That body plays pretty well.
And here's old Glenn Parker right there. You see he has his guy. And I don't, you know, I mean, when you do that and you have so many guys just, you can just pop something in your back.
I think that's exactly what happened.
Yeah,
because nobody hit him.
No, it's on that right side there. And you can see it. Something probably just popped there. And then the problem is sometimes it goes into spasms. Yeah, it could be on this play right here. This is 2 plays before. Watch him as he starts to go right there. It looks like maybe just went out on him on that play. But, you know, I mean, you're just flopping the ground as an offensive lineman. You get hurt, you don't get up. No one comes to pick you up. No one even looks at you. That's why you're old Glenn Parker.
Jason Whittle has taken his place. 1st and 10 Giants. Camella goes back. The handoff is to Dane. Doesn't look like much, but he gets 4 or 5 just by leaning and getting those shoulders square.
And when the Giants drafted him #1, that's what they expected. And that's what they're getting. And that's what they got Ron Dane for. They drafted him for these types of games to do the types of things he's doing.
That's the end of the 3rd quarter. Back at Giants Stadium, 1 quarter to go, 17-3, Giants over the Eagles.
There's old Glenn Parker. They just patched him up. You know, like you do a tire or something, they put a tire patch. They just put a patch like that on Glenn Parker.
2nd and 5. Collins backs the throw and throws complete to Amani Toomer.
That's only the 2nd pass that Amani Toomer has caught today.
Both of them just like that.
Yep, that slant. That's what he had success with him on early. And again, he was going to get double. You could see Damon Moore, the safety, was coming out there to double him, but he didn't get there soon enough. I think, you know, Toomer's been bothered all day by that leg. You know, every time he, you know, would return a punt or something, it looked like there was something. I mean, looked like he got caught, that left leg. Look at it. It gets caught and spun back and around. But I think it's something out there that has been bothering him all day.
Not much doing.
The other thing I'll tell you about Glenn Parker, though, is he's a player, and he's really good for this team. I mean, they brought in Glenn Parker, they brought in Lomas Brown, they play next to each other, and they really added, to the locker room of this team. And you can see, they're ahead 17-3. It's the fourth quarter, but he's doing everything he can to get back in this game. He's probably not going to.
Both of them, both Lomas Brown and Glenn Parker, are very smart players. You don't think of offensive linemen as being very smart.
Oh, yeah, they're the smartest guys on the team.
The pass is complete to Ike Hilliard, short of the first down.
Yeah, I would bet that if you took them in testament, the offensive line would be the smartest. Plus, they're the best guys in the team. I was talking to Glenn Parker down in the field before the game. He's going to be back in there. What the heck am I talking about? That's old Glenn Parker. But I was saying, the offensive linemen are always the best guys. I mean, they're always the nicest guys. They have the most fun. And I remember when I was a coach, if I ever had like a bad day, I would always go, like in the warm-up, before practice, I'd always go and stand with the offensive lineman.
Amani Toomer is back in the game, split up at the top of your picture. And here's Collins on the quarterback draw. And he just lowered his head and took off like a running back. He is a tough guy.
For a first down, who would have thought in this game that Kerry Collins was going to be the rusher? That Kerry Collins could rush for more yards than Donovan McNabb. And this is an organized run. This is one that they're telling him, you have to put your shoulder down. This isn't the time that you're going to slide. You can tell he's not going to slide.
No way.
He's running this like a fullback.
That's right.
Running like that, like Alan Amici or one of those guys did. Watch it
first
from here.
down.
He's coming right at you. You got down there.
First down, Giants. And that's Barber. And Tiki Barber gets to about the 43. Picked up about 6.5 or 7.
Tiki Barber was saying that, because of his broken left arm, he's going to have to carry the ball in his right arm the whole game. And he said he worries about it a little because before he started switching from right to left, you always want it in your outside arm as a runner. He said before he started to switch, he said he used to fumble. Then when he switched it in, that guy that he's standing next to there was Charles Wade. Remember the old Giant fullback?
Second and 4. They fake to Dane, and Collins lofts it deep. Pass is caught by Mitchell. Inside the 10, first and goal, Giants.
I was at practice Thursday and I saw him working on this play, and it was the same spot in the field, and it's the same way that they hit Mitchell. Watch him, he's the tight end in the left. They have 2 tight ends here. He just comes right here and he just runs a post pattern. He's the second guy in. He just runs the post pattern. They run a double post. Campbell goes to the post and then Mitchell goes to the post. If they come off on Campbell, they throw to Mitchell. If they stay with Mitchell, they throw to Campbell.
Pete Mitchell got to the 9. It's first and goal from that point. We're back at Giants Stadium, 17-3. The Giants lead Philadelphia. 10:49 left.
This has been a heck of a drive. It started out on the 4-yard line. Kerry Collins has been 4 for 4 throwing. Then he had that 9-yard run, that third down run for the first down. This has been a heck of a Collins drive and a heck of a Giant drive.
Who would have thought? Number 5 in the blue. They lost the ball. And a whistle was blown. Something happened before they ever got underway.
Before the ball was snapped, false start by the offense, number 77. 5-yard penalty. It's still first down.
Luke Pettigrew. There's such a thing as a fortunate penalty. That's the first penalty today against the Giants.
I mean, that's what the Giants have done well. They haven't had penalties. The other thing that is still amazing is the job that Lomas Brown is doing, or the job the Giants are doing on Hugh Douglas. Hugh Douglas does not have a tackle in this game.
Here's Barber. Lomas Brown did his job again.
Yeah, he has him where he wants him. You know, where he's trying to get up the field and they're running a draw on him. They know that that he's going to do that type of thing, try and get to the quarterback. So they let him go up the field. Lomas Brown just punches him out, and then Tiki Barber just ran right inside of him.
Well, defense dominated the Tennessee-Baltimore game, and for the most part, defense has dominated this game. Defense and turnovers.
That's what win playoffs.
Collins back to throw. He's going to take off again. This time he slides.
Now that was a different type of run.
Yes,
that was a second down run. That other one where he needed the first, that was a third down run. Third down, you have to get the first. On second down, you want to live to throw the next play. You go head first on too many second downs, you won't have as many third downs.
That's right. Today's attendance, a team record. It seems like every time we come here, there's a sellout. They got all the seats sold, but today's a team record, 78,765 standing room crowd today.
Where do they put the others? Just stand them anywhere?
I guess.
Just walk around?
Collins gives to Barber. Barber lost the ball, but after he hit the ground, Jeremiah Trotter tripped him up. Here comes the field goal unit.
One thing, if you're going to run Tiki Barber like they are, and you know that he has to carry it in his right arm, and you want the ball in your outside arm, you run the ball to the right. And that's what the Giants have done mostly today with Tiki Barber.
They've done that mostly all season.
Yeah, they're a right-handed team. Yep. They're a right-handed running team. But they've had pretty good success up the middle today, too.
Yep. Now we saw 4-mile-an-hour wind, and that's strange at Giant Stadium. From 25 yards out, Dan Uiso is good again. Uiso's kickoff sails down to Brian Mitchell. And he starts at the 10. And cut down is Mitchell at the 25.
The Giants have always been about defense.
Those are the touchdowns. McNabb drops it out for a receiver very close to him, Brian Mitchell.
And you can say that it's either third down defense or bad third down offense, because the Eagles are only 1 for 12 on third down conversions.
McNabb 16 out of 33 for 130 yards. That's not many. One interception.
And he just hadn't been able to get those first downs.
And he hasn't been able to run either. McNabb. Torrance Small makes the reception.
And we see the guy that makes the play there is Dave Thomas. We saw him in the sideline getting an intravenous feeding. Look at that today. They're 1 for 12, 3 for 10 in the first game, 1 for 11 in the second game. So that's been a problem for them every time they play the Giants, and here it is again.
McNabb. Intended for Chad Lewis. They almost have to go for this, don't they?
Yeah, you would think that they would have, had a different play on third down. I mean, I would think somewhere they have to just put the ball in McNabb's hands, and he just has to make a play.
Sam Garnes was all over Chad Lewis.
In fact, if you were going to go for it on fourth down, then that third down would have been a good run down.
They need a yard. McNabb. The lunge by Chris Warren should be enough to move the sticks.
Yeah, Andy Reid came back with a fourth down run when I thought the third down run would have been the play, but Andy Reid has done an excellent job.
He really has
with this Eagle team. I mean, they really did get where no one thought they would get, and with some players that no one thought he had enough players, and done an amazing job.
There's McNabb back to throw down the middle. Pass caught by Charles Johnson at the Giant 45. 7:16 left to play.
Remember, we did the first Eagles game of the season was
against Dallas.
At Dallas, and it started with an onside kick. The first play of this. The umpire's down. Those umpires get knocked down more than a lot of players do in a football game.
First down, Philadelphia at the Giant 45. Blitz coming. McNabb shakes one, shakes two, can't shake the third. Ryan Hale made sure.
Yep, Cornelius Griffin was the first guy in there. He's having a heck of a game, Griffin is. You're going to see him here. He's the first guy here, and he gets the pressure because no one blocks him. No one blocks Griffin, so he just hits that hole, and then he makes McNabb spin. And there's the next guy. There's Michael Strahan, and the third guy finally gets him. But it was all started by Cornelius Griffin.
2nd and 17. McNabb in the pocket. Passes underthrown. Small, the intended receiver.
He had time on that one.
Yep.
John Fox was playing that one safe. He was going to make him throw it into a zone, and he was going to have a spy on McNabb.
He's got to be tired when the game is over too, John Fox. He's done a heck of a job.
Yeah, but he does that in practice.
Yeah, I know.
In practice, he stands on the sidelines and gives all those signals. They got the towels out now. They got some stuff going here.
Here comes the corner blitz. And McNabb tries to run it out of there and can't go anywhere. He doesn't get back to midfield. Jesse Armstead made the stop.
That was a good mixture by John Fox. You know, we said to play before that he dropped everyone off, made him throw in the zone. This time he comes with a blitz and he puts some pressure on him. So McNabb's thinking one thing, boom, Fox gives him the other thing. He's thinking the other thing, and then he gives him the first thing.
Mitchell did a good job of picking up Garnes on the safety blitz.
But I think when McNabb saw Garnes coming, I think he put the ball down.
Yep, he did.
All that stuff that we saw John Fox doing meant that.
4th and 15. McNabb back to throw and up in the pocket. Pass is caught. Not enough for the first down. Chad Lewis made the reception.
Well, it depends on where they spot it.
Well, that's true.
This could be enough. Because they're going to spot it right on the line, and the first down marker's right on the line. This is going to be one of those things that is going to be
very close.
It's going to be millimeters, centimeters. What's bigger? What's bigger, millimeters or centimeters?
You're asking the wrong guy. Centimeters, I think.
Centimeters is bigger?
Yeah.
Okay, then this is going to be millimeters. There's right there where he got the spot. And again, as you look down at where the chain is, the first down marker was right on that line. The official's holding it so no player comes and kicks it a little. That's an old player trick where you put it down and you go just give it a little nudge.
You're going to hear the cheers. Didn't make it. The Giants take over. And it looks more and more like the Vikings will be coming to Giant Stadium next week. The Eagles have challenged the first down spot.
And I think they have to. I mean, this is just a last resort. I don't think it was a bad spot. I think it was a good spot. The ball never did touch that line, I don't think, and the ball spotted on the line, so they're going to lose it.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands as called. The progress was correct. Giants ball, first down. Philadelphia is charged with their first timeout.
I think they gave him an advantageous spot, and then when they looked at it, I'm sure that Andy Reid did the right thing because, as I said, it's a last resort. You have to try something, but that ball, they spotted on the line, and the ball wasn't close to the line.
So the Eagles will have 2 timeouts left. The Giants only have 1. That cost the Eagles a timeout, but as you said, he had to challenge that if he had any hope. Dane is the deep back, and Ron Dane gets the carry. Got about a half yard.
I think with Tiki Barber in his arm situation and this game pretty well under control, I think that they should give a heavy dose of Ron Dane and just leave him in there.
That's what they planned to do in the beginning. Tiki Barber said at Virginia when he was in college They didn't tell him to change arms with the ball. Just carry it under the strong arm.
Yeah, they called it the strong arm. That's what Charles Way was saying, too, that they taught him there that you always keep it in your strong arm. And Tiki Barber said that was his right arm, but then he started fumbling too much, and he started changing it. I know offensively, I mean, I don't have a vote. I don't even know if they have an outstanding player, MVP, player of the game, or anything, but I would sure give it to Lomas Brown. I mean, a guy that everyone was saying is Hugh Douglas is going to do this. Lomas Brown, 16 years, can he do it? And he not only played well, he played outstanding today.
Very intelligently. Lomas pulls in front of Barber, or Dane, sorry. Another dose of Dane.
I think so. Dane's playing in this game. Cecil Martin, the fullback in the other team, was his blocker at Wisconsin. So we have the 2 Wisconsin running backs in this game.
Philadelphia timeout, and they're out of timeouts now.
And there's Lomas Brown, and you know, just the way he's standing there, he got those arms pumped up for today's game. You could just tell that he feels good about himself. I mean, he's felt good about himself in his whole career, but he had a job to do today. And he knew it, and all his teammates knew it. And he came out and did it.
Coming up on the Southwest Airlines post-game show, JB, Terry, Howie, and Chris will have playoff highlights and analysis. The Fox Sports ticker will have up to the second stats. All coming up next on the Southwest Airlines postgame show.
You see Michael Strahan over there in the sideline. He's organizing something. Either he's going to do something, or he's talking about next week, or he's organizing some deal. Some deal's going down over there.
This is Barber trying to go back the other way. And a flag on the play. Bobby Taylor on the tackle.
Yeah, that's out of frustration. I mean, the Eagles came in here with a chance to do something and get to a championship game, and I think they've been frustrated all day, especially their offense, and then that carries over. The defense has been on the field all day.
Personal foul, face mask by the defense, number 21. 15-yard penalty, first down.
A 15-yarder.
Yeah, that's the type where you grab it and then you twist it, as opposed to just grabbing and letting go. Bobby Taylor held on to that one a little and then tried to say that he didn't do it. But the Eagle defense really hasn't played poorly. I mean, they were there.
Well, you look at the 2 Giant touchdowns, the kickoff return and then the interception, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, that was, and the defense wasn't on the field when the Giants got their score.
1st and 10 at the Philadelphia 48. Dane again.
But I still say that the offense did a good job, and that Kerry Collins wasn't
Collins, yeah, he did a good job as well. So did that guy right there, John Fox.
He sure did. I mean, he knew that the Eagles were all about Donovan McNabb, and you had to keep him keep him under control, and they did that.
Collins hasn't been spectacular throwing, but he's been a solid leader, and also when he put his head down and got that first down.
That drive was a big drive. There's Sean Payton, offensive coordinator and quarterback coach, who calls all the plays.
Somebody moved. Flag on the play. 4 minutes, just over 4.
By the offense, number 87.
All that business about.
It's still second down.
Can you beat a team 3 times in the same year?
Yep, and they are in the process of proving yes. Cornelius Griffin also did a heck of a job today, because
yes, he did.
He was a guy that was a spy, and they thought it was going to be Barrow and all this stuff, and he was very effective, and that's why Donovan McNabb didn't have his way running the ball.
They kept him under control. Here is Dane. Nothing doing. Championship preview, if indeed the Giants do go on to win, and it looks like they're going to. The postseason series with the Vikings is tied at 1-1. Remember the 1997 wild card game and how that one ended? The Vikings came back.
I think everyone here remembers that.
I think so too. Collins to Dane, hit in the backfield, no gain. Corey Simon still after it. The Giants have won 6 consecutive playoff games. And how about that one? The Vikings haven't. 6 consecutive games, not playoff games, I beg your pardon. The Vikings have not played outdoors since Thanksgiving at Texas Stadium.
Yeah, but they still bring in Randy Moss in here. They still bring in Robert Smith. They still bring in Chris Carter, and they're going to have, because the Giant defense plays very, very well. But if they have any trouble or any problems, they have trouble or problems with speed, and the Minnesota Viking offense will bring that in here.
False start by the offense, number 29. 5-yard penalty.
This is a pretty fast track too. At least it would seem so to me from being down on the field before the game.
Yeah, before the game, when I walked out there, the thing that I noticed was how hard the field was.
Yeah.
And you can look and see that there's not a lot of slipping and sliding out here today. That this would be, I mean, for January, surprising. You would call this a fast track.
Yes, you would. And I can't remember at this time of year when there's been so little wind at Giant Stadium. And we've been here a few times.
This is a beautiful day. We go back to,
and the punt's blocked. It fumbled. The ball's loose again. Jason Bostic blocked the punt, and the Eagles get the turnover. Luther Broughton.
They say the ball's on the 10. This is a thing that they started, and they had their outside guys come back in to help protect. But then when they came back in, they didn't block. They saw that the Eagles were going all out. They were going for a block, so the Giants brought their outside guys in, but their outside guys didn't stay and block.
And if Bostic doesn't fall down, the Eagles are in the end zone. Look at this.
See, Howard Cross can't get to the outside guy. Bostic gets in there, and then usually if a punter's 15 yards back, a guy can't get there from the outside.
The Eagles have no timeouts. Here's McNabb back to throw. Incomplete, and the flag on the play as Armstead grabbed Torrance Small.
Yep, that's like a timeout. A flag, of course, will stop the play, and then they are going to get one at the 2-minute warning.
Yep.
So what the Eagles have to do is get a score in here so they can get an onside kick.
By the defense, number 98. The ball is placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
You saw that. It was Jesse Armstead.
Yep.
And now what Andy Reid has to do is to use that 2 minutes. See, you also get a clock stoppage, a change of possession. So you would like to score right away and before the 2-minute warning.
McNabb overthrows Small. The faded too far.
And he's looking on that card. He has all the situations there and all the plays. And you have plays for, inside the 10. So these are his 10-yard plays that he's calling now. And that'll be until he gets down to the 3-yard line. Then that would be goal line play.
2:12 left. Here comes the Giant blitz. McNabb. Incomplete. Intended for Jeff Thomason. The pressure up the middle from Garnes again.
They've had pretty good success lately with bringing those blitzes. They didn't start early, and here you see Sean Williams is coming up, and they're bringing the safeties, and knowing that he's not going to work those guys, that they can cover man to man now.
It was Sean Williams and Cornelius Griffin who put the pressure on. Third down. Here's McNabb. steps away from one, throws to Warren at the 35. There's a flag on the play. Warren out of bounds at about the 1. It's against Philadelphia.
This is going to be the same thing with the illegal man downfield.
Yep.
I think if they get to third down, they ought to kick a field goal.
Ineligible
Well, they're
player
gonna
by the
get there.
offense downfield, number 60. 5-yard penalty. Repeat third down.
2 minutes, 1 second left on the clock. They'll repeat third down.
And so they get another third down play here. If they get to fourth, I think they have to kick the field goal. I mean, to get the thing going, because they got to get the ball back again and again. So the sooner you get a score, and then you could go for the onside and then take another one. The longer you take trying to score, the less opportunities you're going to have.
2 minutes, 1 second left. Here comes the Giant pressure showing again. Outside to Small, and Small scores for the Eagles.
That's a play they call smoke when they just see that when the corner's off, and that time Dave Thomas was off. And McNabb just takes one step and just throws it out to him. If you look out here, here's Dave Thomas. See how far off he is? Then you just throw the ball out there. And I said they hadn't slipped all day, and then Dave Thomas slips on that play. But when the corner's off and pressure coming in the middle, you just pop it out there to him.
Akers for the extra point. Back at Giant Stadium, 20-10. The Eagles just scored. 1:56 left.
There's a
lined up all to the left.
Yep, there's a kickoff team, and then here's a hands team on this side. They're all bunched up. So you got this bunch, you're going to run into this bunch, but the ball has to go to that red line. It has to go 10 yards before the Eagles can touch it. The Giants can come across. Remember, Jason Sehorn came across and ran one back for a touchdown.
Akers has decided. Over the head of the Giant close men, but the Giants recover. Ike Hilliard fell on the ball.
Yeah, that didn't work. They tried to trick him. They lined up in the left. They got the Giants to line up in the right, and then they kicked it to the right. See, they kick it back to this side here. Everyone was over on this side, but there were no Eagles there if to get it. I mean, the idea is to onside kick it, and then when the ball goes 10 yards, have the kicking team, one of your guys there. The ball goes 10 yards, and all you see is blue jerseys.
Yep. Well, the Giants take over. The Eagles have no timeouts. 20-10, the Giants lead. They're just going to kneel. They've got Ike Hilliard back deep. John Fox and Michael Strahan happy about this score and happy about their performance.
Michael Strahan really took over this game early. Remember, last week it was Hugh Douglas who kind of took the game over and made a play, and Strahan did it today. And I mean, he ran right over John Runyon. He hit Donovan McNabb. The ball come flying out of there, and Michael Strahan played today like a man possessed.
Yes,
like
he did.
He knew that he had to do a job.
He had a game plan, and it worked to perfection. So did Lomas Brown.
Well, yeah, on the offensive side, it was Lomas Brown.
Yep.
You know, everyone was worried about Hugh Douglas, and rightly so. I mean, if the Eagles' front line is going to put pressure or do something to Kerry Collins, it's going to come from Hugh Douglas, and Hugh Douglas didn't make a tackle today. I mean, that's about as perfect as you can get.
Yes, it is. Summarizing what happened, the Giants scored on the opening kickoff. Ron Dixon returned it 97 yards. Jason Sehorn got the other Giant touchdown on a 32-yard interception return for a touchdown. The Eagles were 2 out of 15
Remember when I said earlier they were planning something in the sideline?
Yep.
I think we just saw what they were planning. And did they catch him?
Yep.
Sometimes, don't you got to get a jump on?
You wonder how they keep catching them like that.
My man Jim Fossil didn't get a jump.
Well, he guaranteed a lot of things.
Yeah, I mean he's at, but he has to take off his gloves. He got so much stuff. In fact, they got him with a double dip. Once they get him the first one, and then they say, well, that wasn't good enough, so they come and they get him a second time. Well, I'll tell you, when you get into playoffs like this, it's worth it.
At least it's not anything but water.
I mean, that one got everyone.
Yeah.
It got old Murph down there. It got Fossil. It got
That's what Strahan was plotting.
I know it. And now they got the third bucket. Now they're going to go get someone else. It's probably going to be John Fox.
Collins just kneels down, and the clock will continue because the Eagles have no timeouts. They got John Fox.
It was John Fox. You can see those defensive guys there knew that they were going to go get their guy.
The last NFC title game here was against the Redskins, January of 1987.
Right, and
we were here.
We were here, and we're talking about the Giants beating the Eagles 3 times in 1 year. In that year, back in '86, they beat the Redskins 3 times in 1 year.
It can be done. It has been done.
It's being done.
And again, the Eagles cannot stop the clock.
Fossil better watch out. There may be one more coming.
It might be.
Andy Reid, you know what that is. The tough thing, it's great to be in the playoffs. 12 teams make the playoffs. 11 of them lose their last game. And the finality is tough to take because there's no game next Sunday. You know, there's no we'll get them next week.
There is a game next Sunday, but they won't be involved.
Not the Eagles. Yeah.
Not the Eagles.
But you have to go home and work your clicker. The Giants get to play in the big one. After this, there will only be one game between the New York Giants and the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl number 35. The Giants will let it run out and come away with their third